I mean, I remember 10 years ago when, shit, I can't remember who it was, but I remember 10 years ago, the first time I saw the Canadian Destroyer get used, that was a pretty mean move, and now you see like 4 of them in every match, in AEW at least, or in an indie promotion. That and it's like,
well, I mean, shoot.
Well, but aside from like the every match has to have probably at least 4 Canadian Destroyers in it. Every match has to have about 15 super kicks in a 30-second time frame.
Well, with AEW and a lot of the indie promotions, that's a big problem. There's no structure to anything. They just do things for the sake of doing things. With WWE, yeah, it's hokey and it's corny and it's, again, you can't really take any of it seriously, but at least as far as their in-ring psychology, if besides their tag team matches, the tag team wrestling psychology is fucking dead, period. That doesn't exist anymore. But, just for single matches and things like that, the good ones, the real good, strong talents, a lot of stuff you see him do in the ring, you can still kind of go, okay, well, I would understand why he just did that.
Yeah.
Well, to where you watch an AEW show and they do, a triple bacon moonsault and, 10 seconds into the match. And then, they just keep doing things and doing things and doing things. And it's like, I can't process what the hell I'm watching. Like, that's why I can't stand it.
It reminds me of what you said there reminds me of watching those compilation videos on YouTube where it's like moves that made me go, holy shit. And I can't tell you how many times throughout these videos that I've seen the spot where somebody's got somebody up for a pile driver, right? Or something like that. And you've got a guy on the top turnbuckle that does a shooting star press just to grab the guy's feet and help him do the pile driver. Like, what the fuck was the
does point? The spike part of it. Yeah, why?
What the fuck was the point of the shooting star press in the first fucking place? Like, why couldn't you just jump off the top rope and just say, here you go, here's the help? Was the shooting star press necessary? It literally served no purpose in terms of it didn't do anything other than look ridiculous.
What did it? I'll tell you right now what it did. What it did is it got all the attention on the guy doing the flip and not the guy that just got spiked on his head, which is the whole point.
Right.
They're like, oh, they might have just fucking crippled this guy. They might have just broke his neck, but no, like, ooh, look at that guy. He flipped.
Yeah, right. And I swear that's
actually what you're doing.
And I feel like that's what, AEW is pretty much going for. Like, they want the audience of the people that are going, oh, cool, that guy flipped. I love that guy. Oh, that dude's an awesome wrestler. He flipped.
For as far as actual in-ring psychology, what they're supposed to be watching and understanding, they don't get it.
Yeah.
They don't understand what the hell they're actually watching in the first place.
Yeah. Well, and just the other day I started watching No Mercy from 2003. And one of the matches in there was Bradshaw and Farouk, the APA. I mean, and this was kind of like in Bradshaw's like transition period almost. He didn't have the long hair and the goatee anymore. He had the shorter hair and the clean shaved face, but he was still in the APA. He wasn't JBL yet. So you had APA, Bradshaw and Farouk against the Basham Brothers, which I don't know how many people remember the Basham Brothers because they weren't around very long. But and the Basham Brothers weren't great either. I mean, they weren't even brothers. So they didn't have that going for them. But either way, it was the APA, which was Bradshaw and Farouk were one of your classic tag teams. I mean, they were a unit. They acted as a unit because that's what tag teams are supposed to be. And the Basham Brothers were also this. I mean, they at least had that tag team psychology. But they were a mediocre tag team at best. They didn't last very long. And they put on a damn good tag team match. It was a phenomenal tag team match. I can't even tell you when I've seen a tag team match that was even close to that good in recent years. Like in the last 5 years, I can't even. And that was, and again, I haven't watched, like, I don't even think I've ever watched No Mercy 2003 all the way through from beginning to end. That was just one match I happened to catch from 17 years ago that I didn't even care about. But I can't think of a match that tops that in terms of a tag team match in the last 5 years. That was better than a match that I didn't even know about until yesterday.
Right. That's what I mean. Talking about tag team wrestling, and I'll actually, throw this in here, as part of our original discussion about, was with WrestleMania. They got both the tag team title. Well, I should say 2 of the 3, because it sounds like we're adding NXT into this whole scenario nowadays. But
yeah,
they got the Raw and they got the SmackDown tag team titles supposed to be on the line at WrestleMania. Again, that may change because it sounded like Andrade was going to be out of this situation, and The Miz was supposed to be out of the situation for the SmackDown ones too. But either way, both of those are supposed to be in here, right? Well, only one of them is a traditional tag team match, where the other is supposed to be a triple threat ladder match, according to what I'm looking at right now. My feeling about this is that, well, they're throwing the ladder part in because they don't know how to do a tag team match. Nobody knows how to do a tag team match anymore. So let's throw the ladder involved, and then it takes the whole tagging your partner out of the element because nobody knows how to do it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody has a clue.
Oh,
so,
and I'm going to go on record right now and bet $5 on the fact that there's going to be a broken ladder spot in that match. If that match actually happens, there's going to be a broken ladder spot, guaranteed.
Well, there has to be,
because it's been in every match for the last 10 years.
Right. But you watch. And AEW is really bad for it too, but WWE's getting bad for it as well. Well, you don't have actual tags. Somebody slaps somebody on the shoulder, and that's a blind tag. I don't think that's how the rule is written. I don't think it's ever been a thing. It's supposed to be a hand-to-hand tag slap. Hand-to-hand.
Well, even in the match that I watched from 2003 with APA and the Basham Brothers. There'd be I've seen it in plenty of tag team matches throughout the years where like one guy gets whipped into the ropes or something like that, and as soon as the guy hits the ropes, his partner, slaps him on the back, and that's considered a tag. So then like the guy that got thrown into the ropes gets like spine busted or some shit and goes to pin him or something like that, but he's no longer the legal man anymore. I mean, I've seen that plenty of times. It's been like that for a long time. It might be getting overused now. It was one of them things where it was used sparingly and it was used properly, the blind tags and stuff like that. It was used tastefully. It wasn't it wasn't every single match multiple times per match. Not that I remember anyway.
Well, I mean, even if they did do it, there was some kind of purpose or rhyme or reason for doing it. Now and I guess that's my point, is somebody will start doing it to, incorporate it in one way or another. And then about another generation goes by and these people watched it and go, oh, they're just doing this thing, but don't know why they're doing it. So they just start doing it for no reason, just to do it. And then, so now so my question is, so if somebody gets whipped into the corner, I can slap the guy in the back of the head, especially if I'm wanting to run an angle where I'm mad at my partner. So I can slap him in the back of the head, right? And that's a tag. Okay, I'll have to remember that one. But then they jump in the ring, and again, as far as rules are considered, right? There's supposed to be a 5 count. You got to get the hell out the ring or else your team is disqualified. Well, that rule is, I don't know what happened to that rule. That just gets enforced whenever the referee feels like paying attention, I guess. Because you'll get a guy, slaps his partner in the back of the head, jumps in the ring, and then both of them, and the other guy hasn't got his ass whipped for the last half hour, but now he's fine, and now both guys are in, and they'll do shit for 1 to 2 minutes before they get back to one-on-one in the ring again. So what's the point of having the tags in the first place?
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, I know that
there's no cutting off the ring to separate the guy from the other guy. It's a psychology, and it's just everybody just doing everything.
And that was exactly what happened.
For the sake of doing it.
That was exactly what happened in the 2003 No Mercy tag team match that I was just talking about with the APA and the Bashams. The Bashams, for a good portion of the match, separated Farouk from Bradshaw, so he couldn't get the tag, and they worked on him, for a lengthy period of time. I mean, that's what you do in tag team matches, for fuck's sake. But I mean, it's a
lost art, man.
They've always been kind of the referee, at least in terms of rules or whatever. They've always been kind of relaxed on the 5 count, because they'll do double team moves and stuff like that. But I mean, the 5 count wasn't necessarily like written in stone per se. With like the Dudleys and the Hardys and stuff like that, they might go over 5 seconds, but they weren't in there for a minute, 2 minutes at a time. It wasn't like, hey, should this guy be out of the ring by now? It might have went on a little bit longer than 5 seconds to like maybe 7 or 8, So I mean, it wasn't a strict rule, but it was kind of just like it was more of a rule of thumb, I think, back in the day. And then, but yeah, now it seems like it goes on way too long because that tag team psychology is just gone. But I mean, you don't have tag teams anymore. You just don't. You've got these mashup tag teams that make no sense because you don't know what to do with both guys in this tag team. So it's like, hey, we've had nothing for these two guys for the last 6 months. We're going to give them both some TV time simultaneously. Let's put the Miz and R-Truth together and call them the Awesome Truth. It's fucking brilliant. That's such good shit. Like,
oh yeah.
That's why the tag team division is trash.
And it has been for years. Yeah, there has been no actual tag teams. And that's we're going to bring the women into this conversation now because
real quick. One of the reasons they don't have any actual tag teams anymore is because any tag teams that they actually had, they fucking buried. Look at the Ascension, for fuck's sake.
I mean, yeah, you can go on all day about that. The Ascension, the Revival. I mean,
any actual tag teams they've had aside from the Usos and the New Day, they fucking buried. And the I'm sorry. The Usos only got over because they're part of the fucking Anoa'i dynasty. Let's be honest.
I mean, I don't know about that. They are actually very good.
They are good, but I mean, would they have even gotten a start had they not been a part of the Anoa'i dynasty? I mean, fuck, dude. Let's be honest. They're good, but they're not. I mean, they're not good. You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, they're brothers, so they're gonna have some sort of. In my opinion, if you're brothers and you grew up together, I mean, hell, me and you haven't wrestled a match in a while. It's been a while, but I feel like me and you, and we've never really even done tag team matches, you and I, but I feel like if you were to put us in a tag team match, me and you, it would be halfway decent because we're brothers. We grew up together. We know, I mean, just from growing up together, we would work better than most people, than just two random ass people thrown together. So, I mean, the Usos, I think, are good in that respect, and that's about it. So that's my opinion. I mean, feel free to tell me I'm wrong if you want to, but I feel like the only reason the Usos even got as over as as pushed as far as they did was because of their heritage.
Well, my opinion, again, I think they're very, very good, but it was about the point that you just made to where there were no tag teams. Well, I mean, yes, they're brothers, but because they're brothers, they actually look like a tag team.
That too.
So they stand out just for that alone, whether they were a part of that dynasty or not. Since they are brothers, they look like a tag team. They act like as a tag team. They function like a tag team. They were going to stand out a little bit more, in my opinion, regardless amongst all of these mashed together tag teams. And it might be because of that heritage why they got more of a chance potentially. But they needed to have, the other stuff to back it up too.
Well, I mean, part of my opinion about their push and everything like that coming from their family dynasty and everything like that probably comes from the fact I don't remember which one was who, but I know one of them has had like quite a few legal troubles throughout his career, even while he's been champion, and they don't do shit about it. I mean, it's like, hell, I think RVD, back in the day when this happened to RVD, I mean, this was kind of like right at the beginning of the wellness policy. So it was more of I think we're going to make an example out of RVD than anything else. But, he was WWE champion, if I remember correctly, got busted for weed and had his entire push just crushed. Because he got busted with weed. Fucking one of the Usos had like a DUI and shit, got straight up fucking arrested, I think, while he was tag team champions, mind you, and they didn't do shit about it. So I mean, anybody from the Anoa'i dynasty, like Roman Reigns, the Usos, they've got a certain level above everybody else. Like they've got a certain level of leeway, they've got a certain level of opportunity just given to them that other people don't get. Again, my opinion, my previous statement about, RVD and one of the Usos while they were tag team champions, I could have my facts misconstrued on this point. That's 100% possible, but that's just what I seem to remember.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, the Usos, they have the look and everything like that. They're brothers. They kind of have a little bit of that tag team philosophy and all that stuff, but I don't know. To me, they're just another one of them teams that's just meh.
But every team is meh. Meh is like the greatest, you can get as far as tag team, because tag team wrestling doesn't exist. So,
Yeah.
I guess as far as the Usos go, that's actually pretty good.